without any effort, without any thinking about it at all. And I mean no meditating, I mean no, just forget it. You look in the morning to see what the intent of creation is for that day. Then you go and you live your life. The Maya woke up every morning and celebrated the day for the purpose it served onto creation, and then went and lived their lives. Every day. You know what the word entrainment is? Entrainment is the automatic syncopation of life forms or even mechanical objects. Science doesn't have a real good explanation on why it happens, but they sure know it happens. One example is a baby and a mother, and when they're nursing, the mother and the baby's heart go into rhythm. They beat at the same time. That's called entrainment. It's a natural matching up. It works for objects too. If you take cuckoo clocks in a clock shop, for instance, and you get them all ticking at different times, within a week or so, they'll all be ticking and talking at exactly the same time. It's called entrainment. And what this is a tool to entrain your consciousness to the flow of creation. 13 and 20. 13 and 20. And it goes 1 through 13, and it goes through these different aspects of creation, all 20 of them, and then starts again. So it's a weave of those two numbers. And you can go way into thinking about it, and it will do you no good whatsoever. It's only what you don't think about it, but end up just knowing from inside that does you any benefit. I know that sounds completely backwards from everything you were taught in school, but, well, we're not in school, are we? A side note, I mean, part of this is that consciousness, we've been talking about consciousness as the awareness of being aware, and we've been talking about the mind as a tool that consciousness uses to see the similarities and differences between things, right? Consciousness, overall, it has a job to do. Consciousness divides creation. It divides it. Have you ever noticed that when you are really conscious, you can see the veins in the leaf, or you can see the different colors on a butterfly's wings, or you can count the stars. But when you're upset, and maybe not so conscious, everything looks kind of the same. Have you ever noticed that? The more conscious you are, the more divisions there are in your experience. And the less conscious you are, the more prejudiced you are. Have you noticed that? Where everything and all the experiences or all the people look the same. The job of consciousness is to notice the differences. That's how you count your blessings. That's how you appreciate the experience. Is by looking and picking out the differences. So consciousness divides. And the Mayan calendar says that it divides by 13. All consciousness is divided by 13 in increments of 13 and 13 and 13 and 13. 13 is the number by which consciousness operates. No wonder 13 is unlucky and satanic. Well, creation has a job too. Creation, I mean all of creation, multiplies. And all of creation multiplies by the factor of 20. 20 times. Anybody here studied biology? I mean, the very beginning of biology, from the single egg and on. Multiplies by 20. That's how you got so big. It's through multiplication of your own cells. And it does it in factors of 20. From top to bottom. Interesting, huh? So, by following how this weave goes of 13 and 20, I mean, basically that's what we're talking about, is that this rectangle, 13 by 20, just by being aware of that, it entrains your consciousness to all of the interplay of consciousness and creation. And there's nothing that you can think about it that's going to help. It's just what you end up knowing. And your intuition kicks in, and you end up in the right place, meeting the right people, doing the right thing. That's what's going to get us all through this. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do that. I'm saying that this one works all the time. And that's why this is important. There is something else that I want to do, and I want to do it for the camera. I want to do a formula because everybody desires this one thing. And you look at the basis of all desires. I mean, this has got to be the one that's the strongest. Everybody wants peace of mind, don't they? Peace of mind. Well, that's what, peace of mind's got a lot to do with intuition, doesn't it? Because when you have this, that's usually when this occurs. In fact, in order to have peace of mind, the only time you can possibly have peace of mind is when you are centered. Isn't that true? It's only when you are in this position that you can have peace of mind. Okay? How do you get centered? There's only really one time that you can be centered. That's when you're certain. When you are certain, then you're centered. Okay, where does certainty come from? There's only one source for certainty. The recognition of patterns. The recognition of patterns. Remember the first time that you were trying to learn how to drive? Did you have peace of mind? Were you centered? Were you certain? You didn't recognize the patterns yet, did you? Where does the key go? Which way do you turn it? Which is the gas? Which is the brake? Which is the clutch? Which way do I move this lever? What is this guy doing stopping right in front of me? All of those are patterns. Anybody taking dance lessons? Two-step, I did. Square dance, tango. The more you recognize the patterns,